Okay, we're just setting up the recording. Close the transcript, otherwise we'll be watching what we're saying all the time. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so welcome to everyone to this plenary session. It is my great pleasure and honour to introduce Dr. Yuliana Lavrysh. She is a Doctor of Pedagogical Sciences and a Professor at the Faculty of Linguistics, Head of the Department of English Language for Engineering at the Igor Sikorsky Kiev Polytechnic Institute in Ukraine, which means she is joining us from an active zone of war. She has extensive experience in teaching English as a foreign language and English for specific purposes at BA, MA and doctoral levels, and her academic interests and research focus on digital pedagogy, educational technologies, virtual exchange methodology, language teaching and lifelong learning. However, recently, in response to her circumstances, her research has expanded to include trauma-informed teaching, resilient education, and peace building in education. Dr. Lavrysh says she is committed to advancing the field of education and fostering collaboration within the global academic community. She is a strong advocate for virtual exchange as a tool for promoting intercultural communication and for fostering internationalization in education. She joins us today to talk about education for peace through internationalization and virtual exchange. We are enormously pleased and grateful to her that she can join us today. Please welcome Dr. Yuliana Lavrysh.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, dear colleagues. It's an honor for me to be here with you today, and I wish I could personally and physically be with you and hug all colleagues and colleagues who I know and who we've collaborated, but we are having busy schedule the late of August because we have entrance interview, so on, and that is why. But I hope maybe next year I will have this opportunity. So for me, it's really honored to be here with you today, and I'm really deeply grateful for this opportunity to share our experience and our insights. And I really want to say that it's not only my idea, my personal experience. I just want to share our common experience from my colleagues, something that has really been tested and verified in our severe circumstances. So speaking about sharing, now I'd like to share my presentation. Yeah, I hope you see it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So before we start today's talk, I have to confess, and I'd like to confess that some years ago, if I had visited a conference like this and there was a presentation or talk on peace education, honestly, I wouldn't be interested in it. And there is a high possibility that I wouldn't come. Because for me, some years ago, peace, it was, you know, something like that we could just take for granted. It was like an air, like a usual human right, very stable, sometimes boring, sometimes senseless to speak about because it exists. And what? For us, it was just a theoretical concept. Of course, everything has changed. And today, having reflected on a lot of situations that have happened, having reflected even on our mistakes as educators, my colleagues and I, we have reconsidered this concept of peace, which is in fact really, really very fragile. And we have to reconsider our role as educators when we want to promote peace through the education. I strongly believe that peace should be in people's mind, and we as educator, we can feel that we are responsible for human minds. That is why my key message today is let's try to bring at least some elements of peace education into our real practice. I will explain you today how to do it, how to enhance humanity, how to promote peace building, what key competences we need as educators to do it. Because in fact, it's really, really important. And now we are paying very high price for our mistakes. So I just want you to learn by our mistakes and never, never again repeat our mistakes. So just moving forward, when we resumed our teaching process, it was in 2022 in April, May. For us, it was a challenge to start classes again, not because of technology. Due to COVID, we knew how to do it technically. But for us, it was a key problem, how to start, what to do, what to tell, how to react. And having searched a lot of literature and a lot of some information, webinars, workshops, I found this quotation, which I thought initially was the answer to my question, what to do. So to reach peace, teach peace. You see, it seems very easy and simple and so straightforward. Just teach peace. And first I thought, yeah, I have this magic wand, so I know what to do. But then I understood that really I don't know what it means to teach peace. To teach what? How? I know that we provided with you a lot of peace topics during our lessons, you know. However, when we discuss, for example, human rights, do we promote peace or do we highlight potential conflicts? When we advocate social justice, do we promote peace or do we emphasize systemic injustices? When we, for example, organize debates on gender issue or some political issue, do we promote peace or we deepen the polarization in society? So you might think that everything is simple. Just it depends on your point of view, on the situation, and so on and so forth. But in fact, it's really, really difficult to start because there are a lot of theories, a lot of concepts, and a lot of attitudes, and you have to find that balance. And especially, it's difficult to speak to students who have the same severe experience, traumatized, displaced, and so on. So it's a very sensitive topic, in fact, and we have to find those tools and resources, what to do and how to do it in a proper way. So today, I want to demonstrate you that, in fact, peace is not just a theoretical concept. It's something that can be transformed into real life skills. And it's something that can go beyond our classes. And, you know, sometimes when I, in the beginning, started discussing this question of peace with students, they didn't understand my idea. Why we discuss these strange things which really don't work in real life. What can we do with this? They didn't know what to do with this. In fact, the kind of knowledge I suggest them. Just imagine that you teach grammar, you teach passive voice, but without speaking. Yeah, so students don't have this ability to train or to apply this knowledge. This is something like that. You just theoretically speak about peace, but then nothing happens. So it wasn't so relevant and interesting for students. And now we have to, you know, like what I tell my colleagues, we have to bring peace to earth. and demonstrate that we also can build peace, can construct by our hands. So the short outline of my today's presentation is, first, I'd like to explain you my idea how to transform peace education from just pure theoretical concept to something more applicable. Then I will explore with you key competencies for educators, how to teach peace building and not to harm yourself and not to re-traumatize students, because now we are from a conflict-affected area, but it doesn't mean that maybe you sometimes will communicate with people from also conflict area, and you have to know how to communicate with them, because there are some peculiarities and something that you should know. Next, peace building through language teaching, and I will share with you my idea and my insights why exactly English, not sorry English, just in general language teachers can promote peace and peace building. And of course digital peace building, because today without technology, I think nothing happens without technology. Okay, so first point is about peace education. So just for you to know what it means and why I want to change this focus a little bit. So if you want to just know the definition what peace education is, you can just open UNICEF documents, and you can find this definition that peace education is the process of promoting the knowledge, skills, attitude, and values needed to bring about behavioral changes that will enable children, youth, and adults to prevent conflicts, violence, so on and so forth. And in general, this definition is very long and very, I would say, very theoretical and wide. I've just outlined 4 key points from this definition, that peace education focuses on teaching about peace, conflict resolution, and violence. It typically occurs only in formal education settings because it doesn't teach students any skills, and they don't need to bring it outside of the classroom. They just don't understand how to do it. Also, peace education, of course, its goal to develop knowledge, skills, attitude, but in fact, skills are just are written here, but they are not promoted somehow. And if we speak about peace, it includes a lot of subtopics: ecology, human rights, cultural diversity, sustainability. All these things are about peace. So it doesn't mean that during your lessons you have to discuss only non-violence or conflict, even if you promote cultural diversity, like, for example, through virtual exchanges, or if you with students carry out some sustainability projects. It's also about peace. And in fact, peace can be promoted through any discipline, any subject, not only language. And having attended some workshops on peace building, and I just recommend you, if you are interested in this topic, recommend you following Dr. Sarah Clark Habibi. She is an expert on peace education, and she works in United Nations Institute. She clearly explains, and she gave me the clear understanding how to transform peace education from pure theoretical concept to something more applicable, and to transform it to peace building through education. So what it really means? It means that education becomes a tool to achieve build peace in conflict-affected area. What I mean? I told you that when we resumed teaching, it was a great challenge for us, because we, as well as students, didn't really understand what for, how it can help, it could help in that situation. But in fact, education is a tool that can help restore resilience, dignity, some image of a normal life. And really, education is a tool of normalizing our life as much as it's possible at that time. And when we try to find some frames to explain students something, and even to be like a model ourselves for students how to overcome these barriers, circumstances, it brings some illusion of normality to our life. And at that moment, and now, it's still very important. Next, peace building can occur in both formal and informal educational settings. So what is a key point that students can provide even beyond the class? For example, service learning or some virtual exchanges. We will discuss it later. Next, peace building focuses on addressing root causes of the conflict, not just some statement that war is bad and conflict is bad, and conflicts are usually because of religious issues or political, something like that. So in fact, if we understand the root, if we understand people behind the screen or people from other cultures, it's easier for us to understand how to overcome those barriers and how to find common language. Next, peace building also may be included into curricula. This some kind of topics, school construction, I mean different project, maybe some additional settings, additional environment, maybe some separate clubs where you can discuss these topics. Of course, teacher training, because I remember when I was a student, nobody taught me how to teach peace, really. And the last point, that peace building aims to transform educational system in general. However, it is a global goal which we have to support and try to achieve. However, let's leave it for some authorities, and it is in our just hand and what we can as teachers do. Even if we introduce some small topics or some kind of project with students in the term of curriculum or just class discussions, it would be great, and it would promote peace and humanity in your classes, even without huge and serious educational reform. Now moving forward to educational competencies. What we as teachers need to know how to teach peace, what to do, and how to become safe in this process, and how to organize also safe learning environment, because peace is really very sensitive topic. So we together in our department, we carried out surveys and discussion with my colleagues, and we've developed such a framework which we call RAFT, RAFT, something that help us to survive in some severe situations. And the RAFT framework stands for resilience, appreciation for diversity, facilitation, trauma-informed teaching. So now I want to explain you in details what it really means. So first one, it was about resilience. And I just want to tell you that resilience is the process of adapting well to some severe circumstances. What is more important, it means healthy functioning after highly traumatized or adverse event. There are a lot of coping strategies, and there are a lot of sub components of resilience. And you can see here in my slide, we've outlined key points: optimism, self-belief, control of self, adaptation, flexibility, so on and so forth. And you can see this pie chart. In 2022, we've conducted a small survey about our teachers, their attitude to that situation and how they survived. And one of the questions was what helps you and encourage you to keep teaching? And it's also about resilience. And you see answers that, first of all, we resumed and we were inspired by our students. They really needed our participation and in this teaching process. Then you can see duty and responsibility. Professional commitment is very serious topic. Then believe in victory, colleagues, communication, salary. Of course, we're all human, and you see the rest. So it's very difficult, in fact, to work and to live and to survive without resilience. And I'm sure that you've seen a lot of films, you've read a lot of literature about people who survived in different severe circumstances. And the key point, what they required and what they developed, it was resilience and coping strategies. It's not that easy to be resilient. There are some tools and strategies how you can do it. Our today's topic is not about this, how to do it, but just keep in mind that you have to be resilient if you want to work in a conflict-affected area. And here, what resilience really means for us as teachers, it's about emotional intelligence and emotion control. And you have to be very self-aware person and understand what might trigger you, how to control emotion, how to create safe environment. Your commitment to peaceful problem solving is very important, because even, such simple and such easy strategy as assessment, in fact, it is very conflict situation in our teaching process. And we have to transform this process to eliminate possible barriers and conflict that might arise during the even assessment. So we have to be more flexible and more sensitive, just to be targeted at peaceful problem solutions. Next, critical thinking and analytical skills. It's, I think, understandable. Resourcefulness. It's very, very important, because we are all human beings, and it's impossible to teach and to share energy on something if you are empty. I mean, metaphorically empty. And you have to find that resource, and that may be source in general of something that supports you. It might be family, hobby, colleagues, it doesn't matter. But these resources help you to survive and help you to teach. And of course, self-regulation. Rules of self-regulation, time management, even such a simple thing, which now is really unstable and sometimes unpredictable in our situation, but it is not that difficult to develop. And as an example of our resilience, I wanted I've changed my presentation just today because I wanted to share with you this experience from life. So, there's a festival that is happening now in the US. It's Burning Man, where a lot of people just gather and they share their inspiration. They demonstrate their installation, art object, and so on. And our Ukrainian team, they presented this huge installation, which is called "I'm Fine." And in fact, when you ask any Ukrainian person, how are you? We always answer, thank you, I'm fine. And we even ask you, how are you? And we really smile. We understand that it's okay for us. We survive. Okay, we are fine, even after some attacks. However, if you look closer, this installation is constructed from real war artifacts. For example, you can see here bullet-riddled road signs, destroyed city signs, destroyed fences, car bodies. So it means that we are resilient. It's okay, we are fine, but we are getting used to something abnormal, some crazy situation. We understand that it's maybe not okay from the mental health point of view. However, it's our reality, and we have to survive, and we have to provide children, teenagers, students, and youth with some sources. And we are that support for them. And for us, as for teachers, is critically and vitally to smile, to tell that everything is okay, despite of any circumstances, but we have to find that background and that resource for ourselves to demonstrate this smile. And I think that idea of this installation exactly about that. Next point. Next is appreciation of diversity. When now our classes are full of different students. I mean, it wasn't before, but we have a lot of internally displaced students, as well as, I'm sure, universities from your countries are full of students from Ukraine and other countries. And in fact, it's inclusivity is not a new topic, but now we have to again reconsider it a little bit, because we understand that inclusivity is not only about physically disability or some kind of diseases and physical problems. It's about sensitivity even to different cultural and academic background, because we have a lot of internally displaced students from different universities with different background and with absolutely different level of knowledge, skills, and we have no moral right to demonstrate it. From the other point, our students today, they demand that global communication. And it is impossible if you have this cultural anxiety. And when we started our experience of virtual exchanges, we saw that for students, it was very difficult to start communicating with students from another country because of this cultural anxiety. And we just shifted a little bit our curriculums and our topics toward this cultural, intercultural communication and sensitivity. And we provided some new strategies and tools. When we speak about cultural, this diversity, we mean that from other side, we suggest students to recognize and to accept our own features and to consider ourselves as a nation, maybe in a deeper way, understand ourselves, and through understanding other culture, we understand better ourselves as well. So this is a mutual process of intercultural communication, and I really, really recommend you implementing these strategies in your teaching process. Next is about facilitation. Facilitation, it's about support and safe teaching process and learning environment. It is about scaffolding and about ability to build a partnership with students. And it means that we share responsibility for academic outcomes with our students. It doesn't mean that I'm a teacher, I'm here the most important person, and everything what I say is just true and right. So we, together with students, develop, for example, criteria for assessment of some kind of projects. We ask them and we take into consideration their wish and their maybe some suggestions regarding topics for discussions and even topics for curricula if they want to change something, or maybe even speaking about their professional orientation, they know better what they really need. And doing this, we support their agency, autonomy, and we allow them to gain that self-control over the learning process. And you know, if you just try to remember some kind of difficult situation or very stressful situation, maybe in which you could be, what really helps? First, what we should do is trying to get control over at least our body or some kind of this some situation. And when we gain that control, it means that we decrease that level of stress and anxiety. And if we suggest students some higher level of autonomy, we share responsibility and we suggest them higher level of a control of a learning process. And for them, it seems that if they control something, it decreases their level of anxiety and stress. So it's some kind of trauma-informative pedagogic strategy, and it's a kind of building pedagogy of partnership, which is really important for in our circumstances. And the last is trauma-informed pedagogy, which is, I think, rather obvious in our situation. And it's first of all about awareness of what trauma is, what are the symptoms, triggers, how to respond, how to control, how to self-regulate, and how to teach students this, some very simple but really vital strategies of self-regulation and self-control. And also, if students know how to prevent, how to and how to analyze the principle of conflicts and root of conflicts, it also promotes trauma-informative pedagogical strategy, because students understand what to do to avoid and not to be re-traumatized. Because in our case, we are all traumatized, and now we are speaking about re-traumatization that might happen. And just to prevent it, we explain students how to avoid some difficult situation, conflicts, and how to find those peace-building solutions. Now let's speak about tools and resources. So first, it's of course internalization and virtual exchanges. Why? Because first of all, you provide students with global communication. They see that they are not isolated. And in fact, in our case, it was a student's wish. In the beginning of war, they wanted to communicate and they wanted to express themselves and to share with the whole world what was happening. And we as language teacher, we could provide them with that platform. And for us, virtual exchanges was the solution. Next, by opening this borders for our students, we made our English classes even more meaningful, more impactful and relevant for students, because they wanted to express, they wanted to discuss. It wasn't my initiative, just, okay, let's talk about peace and let's talk about, I don't know, ecological problem. They wanted to discuss something, and we supported them, and we provide, and we found audience to listen and to respond. So it is really a great motivator. Of course, during virtual exchanges, students are engaged into real world experience, because we just try to create some real world situation, maybe stimuli something, and students get practical experience. It is very useful for us as teachers. First, we didn't think about that, but really we are exposed to different educational systems, approaches. We enrich our personal experience, and it's also very, very important, and it promotes our and it contributes to our professional development as well. Then we create global networks, not only educators network, but students also create their networks, and they communicate even after virtual exchange projects, and they then, for example, can move physically if they participate in academic mobility. So, you know, only when we are all connected, we can solve problems and understand each other better, because isolation causes what it causes, you know. Challenging assumption. I've told you about cultural anxiety. It really exists, especially for those who didn't have such opportunity to travel or to communicate with foreigners. And we all have some kind of stereotypes about different cultures. So virtual exchanges and internationalization help us to eliminate these barriers. Then in virtual exchange projects, we can model peace situation and train with students conflict resolution or conflict prevention skills. And of course, trauma-aware response, virtual exchange can help us creating supportive learning environment, because we delegate students responsibility and some tasks to do. We trust them. We allow them to control situation, what is happening during the virtual exchanges. So first, peace building strategy that I strongly recommend you to implement is a virtual exchange. And today I've met with one of my colleague from virtual exchange from Japan, Naomi, and for me it was very pleasant, and really that virtual exchange was the first for our student, and it even had you know, like a therapeutical effect on our students. We didn't expect, but it really worked like that, and we are very thankful Yokohama National University for that opportunity. Next, what educational solution should be implemented if you want to construct a peace building educational environment? So first, it's just change and shift your educational focus toward media literacy. We are all today interconnected through different messengers and social nets, and it's difficult to analyze that volume of information that overloads students, us, and we see that this media really influences student minds. So media literacy is really critical. And speaking about analysis, it is understandable and obvious that critical thinking skills absolutely vital in this situation. Next, about social networks and influencers. What we did, we understand that we as teachers, we are not an expert in some difficult areas and fields. However, our students wanted to know some true and trustful information, and in first they didn't know how to analyze credible source, not credible source. They didn't have that level of media literacy, and we invited in our classes experts or influencers from different institutions, non-profit organizations, even from authorities, people who could really explain roots over the problem, strategies, even psychologists who helped students to overcome some problems, because unfortunately not all students can share some problems even with their parents. So we wanted to provide all resources we have for our students to find that maybe peace, inner peace, and find that harmony with the situation in the whole. The next solution is internalization of education. I've told about this, virtual exchanges, intercultural competence. Inclusivity. Also, I've explained you this point. Social emotional learning. It's something that we frankly we've never implemented in our classes, because I tell you see, I'm from a technical university, and we didn't really think that social emotional learning is important for students. They're young adults, maybe they have these skills. Unfortunately not. And you know what is very interesting point, we've admitted that when we had virtual exchange projects, the problem of social emotional learning is not only our Ukrainian local problem. Students from other countries, they also lack these skills, and sometimes they don't know how to respond, how to react to some situations. And we helped, and we together developed these skills in Ukrainian students and students from other countries. And our partner teachers also agree that this is a focus that should be integrated and implemented in terms of peace building education. And the last one is a skill of conflict resolution. We just integrated some of the topics in our curricula, discussions, some maybe even texts for reading and for listening. So we are language teachers, everything is possible from our side. Why language teaching? Why I want to highlight this, that exactly we have more resources, because language is about building bridges. Language is about understanding, and peace is about understanding. And language is about communication, and language is a tool of negotiation, and it is a tool of exchanging of information and sharing information, and peace is the same. So that is why we have more resources. And for example, what we suggest and what we've tested with our student, first is intercultural communication courses. They are elective courses for students, and they're very helpful, especially for those who want to participate in virtual exchanges and physical academic mobility. And then we also organized exchange programs and online collaborative project. You know, this abbreviation is a COIL. Virtual exchanges and telecollaboration, the same. Language and peace building courses. It's completely new for us. In fact, we didn't know what to speak about and what kind of a contest will be there. But our students just supported us, and they suggested topics they want to discuss. And in fact, this course is related to conflict resolution training. And they have some common topics and some common subjects, and sometimes we just connect these two courses. And it's also elective for students, but more and more students just choose them if they want to enrich their experience from the perspective of peace building. Service learning. It is not a secret that a lot of our students are all around the globe, and I'm sure that they are in your countries also. And what I want to say that thank you. We are really grateful, all of you who accepted our students and our teachers, and really everything is interconnected, and without your help, my today's speech wouldn't be here. But what I want to highlight, that service learning, it's something that happens beyond the class. And we suggested our students who are in different countries organize language clubs, discussion clubs for refugees, for children, adults, people, elderly people, to help them integrate into society, to even to learn simple phrases or explain something in a simpler way. And our students organized Ukrainian festivals. They supported children in schools. And, you know, we received a great feedback that our students develop their language skills, and they develop their confidence skills in intercultural communication. And that refugee communities, they also were very grateful, and they supported our initiative, and our students still are in this service initiatives. Next, cultural immersion activities. I've mentioned here festivals, immersive camps, language immersive camps. We even conducted online our celebrations for students who are abroad and for communities who are abroad. And, you know, it helps us to share and not to forget that we are all Ukrainians, we're united, and only together we can achieve our goals. And the last strategy is research and advocacy. And sometimes it's not understandable what it means really, but it is about research for master students. And I just want to share with you some example of this activity. What I did, I suggested master students, it was a peace building course that I've told you before, elective course.
Yuliana.
Yeah.
Yuliana, you've about 3 more minutes or so, yeah?
Yeah, I have 3 minutes, I know. Yeah, so I suggested students to analyze different papers and articles on peace, and to find out crisis drivers, but not some elementary crisis causes, but some more complicated. And you see their results. Really, I was surprised that the student mentioned such things as social polarization or digital illiteracy. So when we understand roots of the problem, we know what to do then. Yeah. These are topics that we integrated in our curricula. And you see, it's not just about pure peace. I told you it's about ecology, gender issues, so on and so forth, and digital peaceful strategies. I've told you about them, and one of them, of course, is COIL, virtual exchanges, also digital storytelling. It's like a reflective tool as well. Also, digital citizen education is very important. And IE-powered multi-language translation, we cannot forbid that, and we just explain students how to work with it, what it means, what you can use, what is better to avoid. We are in our journey together with students in it, but it really might be helpful technology. And just to come to conclusion, my last key message for you, that every word taught, every exchange facilitated, and every digital interaction can plant a seed of peace. Let's nurture these seeds and watch them growing into a forest of a global harmony. So I just wish you to live in peace and to promote peace and humanity in your classes, and we will find that harmony for our future children. Thank you for your attention. Here are some references if you are interested, and now I'm ready to answer your questions if you have.
Thank you very much, Juliana, for a very powerful talk there with loads and loads of ideas. Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Yuliana, either in the room here, or I'm going to open the chat so we can see that and just see if anyone online has a question they wish to put to Yuliana. While people are thinking, I'd like to ask you, Yuliana, how do you as a teacher, and how can teachers think about and be resilient themselves, about how can they think about their own mental health in this context? Being strong for others requires a lot of strength, doesn't it?
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's really difficult question, and I cannot find just one common recommendation for everyone, because it's very personalized and individual where to find that sources of resilience. As I've told you, for a lot of teachers, they are two kind of sources, family and students. For me personally, this is my personal professional commitment, because I understand that I'm like a model for my students, and I cannot let them down. And when they see me in front of the screen, they understand that everything is okay. Maybe it seems like a normal life, and even if teacher, finds sources and strengths to come to you today, so maybe there is a hope in future. So it's really difficult, but we are trying, because in fact we have no choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for those comments. Are there any other questions? Silence in the chat there. I think lots of people are ruminating on the things that you've shared, Yuliana. Very, very powerful things that you've shared. I mean, how far do you feel? I felt listening to you that there were many things that we can learn from as educators in general, certainly around the comments you make around inclusivity and diversity, and also the value of virtual exchange. How far do you feel that these comments are actually something that we should all be considering? We don't need to consider in the context that you've described. It's relevant in a broader sense.
You mean in a global sense? Yeah, just not what
in any classroom, I guess in any classroom, really.
Yeah. You know, I think that even in a kindergarten, from the kindergarten, we have to plant that seed of peace into small children's minds, that even if you share some candy with your friend, it is about peace. And it's something that should be in our DNA, you know, and we should never forget about that. And it's our role as educators globally to contribute to peace education. And first of all, we have to understand that peace is not something that taken for granted. It is really, really fragile thing, but it is in our hand to prevent it. Really, I've never thought that my role as educator is really important in this kind of situation, because I have to admit that there is education for peace, and unfortunately it exists education for war, when glorification of war happens and some other things. So we should we should study these things. We should explore these strategies, how to prevent some things, how to contribute to the development of other things. And in my opinion, I think that research on peace education should be globalized, and it should involve a lot of experts. And we have to promote this research again from another point of view, more applicable, more practical. But in fact, we just forgot how important it is.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that response. We have one question in the chat. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to read it out to you. How difficult is it to create and empower a peace building approach within teachers' communities? Is there any mindfulness training or ideal community of teachers in order to create that kind of harmonious landscape? That's from Sonia.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your question. Yeah, we had, first of all, we had a workshop, and we had some assistance and support from our partners. In the beginning of war, we had a lot of discussions with teachers from Israel. They helped us. They shared some strategies, and of course, this mindfulness training and strategies, because you know, we were completely peaceful, and we are a completely peaceful nation, and for us it was a huge stress, and we still don't really understand how it could have happened. these mindfulness and mindfulness strategies and mental health are our priority today. And today, I want my colleagues to rest more, to find that sources. We are trying to, for example, together and to have conduct some meeting going outside of the university and just enjoy watching flowers. And we do not stop celebrating life. You know, it's very important to understand that people on the front line, they are fighting for life. And if we, on the other side of front line, think about death, it means that we lose. So we have to keep thinking and celebrating life. And we have to find those resources and just support this peaceful life, some kind of normal life, even under such severe circumstances. And of course, we applied for help. And thank you to our partners, they helped us. And now we are ready to share how to overcome and how to organize. And I have to admit that we are still making some mistake. We're still haven't found a question to all our problems and answers, but we are on our way and we are open to discussion. We are open for sharing. Please apply, write, ask, and we can share.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, there's lots of love and positivity coming online, lots of hearts appearing, and then lots of that in the room as well. We need to draw the talk to the close now. I can see a question in the chat, but maybe Yuliana, you can pop an answer in the chat if you have a moment. Thank you very, very much for joining us. It's been a wonderful, powerful talk. And thank you it's been positive as well. There's been so much to take away. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I just wish you a successful conference and enjoy your moment. It's really help you and enjoy everything that you do, just every moment. Enjoy your life.
Thank
you. See you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's joined us in the room and obviously online as well. Before you all head away, we have an announcement about the posters. It seems very strange to be talking about posters after we've had that wonderful keynote session and the topic. But we need to vote for the best student poster and the best non-student poster. You can do that if you go onto Teams. And Jakub's just going to show you that now. There's a form on Teams that you can find. If you look at poster sessions 1 and 2, you can see best student, non-student poster. And then if you click on that button there, a form opens up. And we saw it for a second, but there you can vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have obviously posters here in situ on site. We also have posters online. You can find them on the team site in the files section, which Jakub is showing you here now. So please have a look at those before you make your final vote. And please vote. We'll give the prizes in the closing ceremony tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. That's all. That's all for today. Yes, see you at the dinner this evening. You'll go for dinner. Okay.